Woot. It doesn't flag the parameter though as one of the sources, does it?
Sorry, repeat that.
Does it flag does it comment and flag the parameter as a source, or does it just tag the usage of it?
Just the usage.
Interesting.
Do you want it to tag the parameter itself?
Probably it's gonna require some more rework on the inside of the dang thing in order to get that to work, but yes.
Okay.
Hey Josh.
Hey.
I think in order to do that, in order to support that, you'll need to make sync flow instead of holding a cursor, hold a data flow node.
Okay. I will take a look.
Okay. I don't know if we're gonna have anybody else join us, Josh. It might just be you and I and Aaron over here.
Gotcha.
Maybe. We'll see.
Everyone's still recovering from fireworks, maybe.
Apparently, I'm toast. I was in Arizona this past weekend.
Nice. How'd that go?
It was good. I was there for a wedding. It was a good time.
Good stuff.
Mm-hmm. Copy the. Okay, it is the 5th. Hello, Yesenia.
Hello.
So let me so the should have the meeting notes here. Fill in your attendance, that would be lovely. Oh, most of you have already. Great. Alrighty then. So let's see. Proposal specification. There we go. Got it. So Woot. Julie was working on coming up with the stories, the user story, or the case study, not the case studies, the what are we calling them? Example scenarios. She wrote up a couple and she'll be joining us in 2 minutes to discuss this.
Was it added to the document or another
uh,
document?
she sent me a Slack message with him, so she'll,
Okay.
I'll ask her to cover those when she hops on the call.
Perfect, thank you.
Did we end up having something in here that satisfies Xavier's request of having another external org validate the? Oh. Third party. Well, he didn't actually add the requirement.
I may have missed or forgotten that conversation. If you want to briefly talk about what the
Yeah,
third
so
party
it's-
validation.
yeah, Xavier's proposal is that the change gets reviewed by another org that makes sure that like it's compiling, fixing all test cases, like basically reviewing, you know, somebody to review the changes to verify that those changes look good.
And the changes would be the remediated patches?
The diff, yeah, of some, like, not like exact, but like a general example set.
Okay,
No,
I mean, that makes sense, but do we have a specific org or would it be some
well,
of the,
um. This, I think we move this up. Um. Automated fix, hey, we can't hear you, Josh, if you're saying things. Oh, Wes, so. This thing down here. Let me update these. Automated fix source code. 4, 5, 6, 7. 7. Eight. 9. 11, 12. Okay, great. Automated fix campaign should avoid, okay. 4.1. 4.1. Patching. Free, avoid patching test code exclusively. 4.2. Target. And then to answer, I guess to cover Xavier's, right, it should be 4.3 external review. Uh, uh, in the introvert, there is likelihood of bugs in the some example patches should be reviewed by a third is that what Xavier was asking for? Must, should, do we care?
I think we'll leave it up to them in case by case.
In order, there is the likelihood of bugs in the generated patch. Some example patches should be reviewed by a third party for before deploying the campaign. Okay. Added to cover this. Thanks. Then resolve. Okay, all right, that's handled. So, it's Suli.
I'm here.
Hi.
I'm great.
Good. So, do you want to discuss the cases that you wanted to propose for covering in the example scenarios?
Yeah, so I did a few of them and then I created for the last two. I haven't finished it, but I can try to paste it and then format it later.
Sure. Go for it.
But this is what I have right now. Hopefully I won't format. Did it pasted it over another thing? Let's see.
No, you did not. It's bumping it down. I mean,
Okay.
yeah. If you do Shift I, it'll keep the
All right. So the first one you helped me do, which is like if they don't have the PMPVR is able, then in that case, let's see, we can just like let them know about the vulnerability and fix it immediately. And then the other one was if it's not unable and the issue is disabled and the disclosure email can be found. In this case, we want to like create a public, well, what I understood is that we create a public pull request to notify the maintainer.
Yes. So if
But there's
PMP
different.
is enabled and the vulnerability is not fixed after 90 days, then create a public pull request. Yes. That is, yeah, that's generally accurate.
Is there like other steps that we should be adding?
In the case where the repository host has PMPVR, wait, PMPVR. Whether, wait, the repository host, wait, whether the maintain, the repository. Repository. Does not have PMPVR enabled. And the vulnerability is not fixed after 90 days. Then create a pull request. In this case, in the case where the repository is not a PMPVR, and after reaching out via both email and the issue tracker, the vulnerability is not fixed after 90 days, then create a public pull request. Yeah, so there's the reach out step that still occurs here on the right side.
Okay.
Or the repository. So in the case where the repository host does not support PMPVR. In the case where the repository host does not support PMPVR, then find security reporting email with the open OSSF disclose check and send automated emails to request. Yes. Well, so if the repository host does not support PMPVR, so there's a difference here. If the
Okay.
repository host doesn't support PMPVR, that's like GitHub or GitLab or Bitbucket not supporting PMPVR. So if the host doesn't support it, then the repository can't turn it on because the code base itself does, like the
Doesn't
where
have
the
it.
code's being hosted doesn't support it.
Okay, got it.
So that means
we just leave it as is.
well, if we can send automated emails, we can't request they enable PVR. We send automated emails with the patch and
Okay.
right.
And can you clarify what a patch is in this case?
A patch, it's means two things kind of. So in the general sense, a patch means a contribution, but a patch file, which is .patch, is a standard format for defining a diff that is like from what currently the code is the diff to what we want it to be. There's a standard format of .patch files that tooling like Git and other things can be used to apply. Git commits, when you see the commits, commits are always in patch format. So if you look at any commit on GitHub,
Okay.
yeah.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, so this plus and minus format that you're seeing here, I mean, this is a parsed out version of it, but there's a textual version of this format that
Gotcha.
that represents a patch.
Patch.
Yeah. In the case where repository house does not support PMPVR, then find the security reporting email with and send automated email with the patch. Find the security reporting emails and send automated emails with the patch and indicate the disclosure timeline before public pull request to the ocean. Or there won't be an existing issue. Yeah, also if they don't support PMPVR, then so
Okay.
yeah. So if the PMPVR is not enabled, this case, right? And the vulnerability is not fixed. So earlier, right, this might be like PMPVR, let's do this. 3.1. 3. Team PVR is not enabled. And the issue tracker requesting PM PVR be enabled. And then 3.1.3.1 would be vulnerabilities not fixed. If the vulnerability is not, so like this is a subsection under 3.1, right? So let's say the vulnerability is not, so in this case, right? PMPVR is not enabled. In the case where the repository does not have PMPVR enabled. And after reaching out via both email and the issue tracker. Oh, okay. Reach out via both email and the issue tracker requesting PMPVR be enabled. The email will also include the patch with the fix for the vulnerability. Vulnerability is not fixed after 9. If the vulnerability is not fixed after 90 days, then create a public pull request. Right, that's one case. If the vulnerability is not fixed. Let's see, 3.1.3.1. Let's just do this 3.1.3.2. PMPVR is enabled if within 90 days of contacting PMPVR is enabled, report our that makes sense?
Yeah.
And then emails not found, emails bounce back. This would be, so emails are not found. Could be under PMPVR is not enabled, right? This one.
Okay.
So in this case, if emails are not found, 3.1. Well, hang on, PMPVR is not enabled.
About they are unable, but we still can find the email.
Yeah. Emails. Are found. Yes, fine, love. Okay, so in this case, if PMPVR is enabled, the issues are enabled. If emails are not found, right? If emails are not found, then in this case, public disclosure. Well, it depends upon, so the problem here is that it depends upon if like, if the issue was previously opened, right? There's like a matrix of events here. You either use the existing issue or create a new one.
Okay.
Or use the existing one. Hey, Yodam. If emails are not found, wait 35 days from the issue above having been created, then if PM PBR is still not enabled, public this actually is true for both. If emails are not found or emails bounce back.
And this is the same scenario if it's unable, like if they have it turned on, but we're not able to find the email, we'll still have to wait like 35 days.
Well, if PM PBR is enabled, then we just use it. Right.
Okay.
So we don't check, we don't even need to check for emails if it's there.
Got it.
All right.
It's create a public request. Yeah.
Yeah, but if PM PBR is not enabled, but issues are enabled. Ooh, this is interesting. What do we? In the case that we have. What if the repository host doesn't support PM or well, okay, so the repository host doesn't support PM PBR. Oh, okay, wait. Repository supports PM PBR here. If that's not true, then we go here. if it doesn't support PMPBR, then we just go to the email route.
Okay.
So if PMPBR. PMPBR. PMPBR not supported by repository host. Right, if the PMPBR is not supported by the repository host. That assumes the emails are found. Okay. Hmm. Okay, so then 3.1.4.1. Three dot one dot 4.2. Not email. Not found. Or emails all bounced. Yeah, I think that's accurate. Is this all making sense to everybody? Am I read through these real quickly.
Yeah, let me read through them.
All right, 3.1.1 PMPBR is enabled. In a case where the repository host supports PMPBR and the repository has it enabled, then the vulnerability and the fix will be provided immediately by a PMPBR. PMPBR is not enabled, issues are disabled, and disclosure emails can't be found. In a case where the repository PMPBR is not enabled, issues are disabled, and email is not found, then create a public pull request immediately. PMPBR is not enabled, but emails are found and issues are enabled. In the case where the repository is not a PMPBR enabled, reach out via both email and the issue tracker requesting PMPBR be enabled. Email will also include the patch with the fix for the vulnerability.
And 3.1.2, create a public pull request immediately. Are we submitting the patch with that one, or is it just the notification to enable PMPBR?
If the
So-
emails are not found, then you don't submit the patch because you don't want to, because the issues are public.
Okay, so we are not submitting a patch or the vulnerability on 0.2.
We are only, we do, so where PMPBR is not enabled, issues are disabled and the email is not found, then create a public pull request immediately. So the public pull request is the fix with the disclosure of the details.
Okay, I don't know if you want to just put that out, just noting
Yeah.
that it does include the, there you go. Publicly and create by creating. There it is.
Yes. 3.1.3 PMPBR is not enabled, but emails are found and issues are enabled. And in the case where the repository does not have PMPBR enabled, reach out by email and the issue tracker requesting PMPBR be enabled. The email will also include the patch with the fix for the vulnerability. 3.1.3.1, if PMPVR, if within 90 days of contacting the maintainers, PMPVR is enabled, contribute the patch via private pull request leveraging PMPVR. 3.1.3.2, if the vulnerability is not fixed after 90 days, then create a public pull request. Then what? PMPVR is not supported by the repository host. In the case of the repository host does not support PMPVR, if emails are found, find the security reporting emails with the OpenSSF disclose check and send automated emails with the patch and indicate the disclosure timeline before a pull request be opened. If in the other case, emails are not found or all emails bounce, immediately publicly disclose the vulnerability via public pull request. 3.1.5, PMPVR is not enabled, but issues are enabled. Either create a new issue requesting PMPVR enabled or use an existing one if one was created by a previous campaign by the same operator. And then 3.1.5.1, if emails are not found or all bounced, wait 35 days from the issue above having been created, then if PMPVR is still not enabled, create a public pull request. Yeah. That handles the majority of the cases. Are there any like major cases that we're not handling? Or any of these that people are confused about?
Just for visibility, for readability, the 3.1, 3.2, maybe indent them, because when I first looked at them, I thought they were like more. So any of those subsections, yeah, there you go. Because then it just looked like a lot of different use cases, which they are, but no, those are good. The one right under it. And then scroll down, please.
It's like, let me do insert.
There you go. Wait. On 0.5315, is there a recommendation? You said either create a new issue or use an existing one. Do you recommend them just create a new issue so it doesn't overlap?
If and let's no, so you want to, yeah, so if an issue was previously created, use that issue. Otherwise, create a new issue requesting PMPVR be enabled. That clear? So prefer to use an existing issue so you're not spamming a maintainer. Otherwise,
Yep.
create a new issue.
That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes more sense now.
So.
So it's basically flagging the same issue to them again.
Yeah, you're basically reusing the same issue, so you're not having to.
Recreate one. Okay.
Yeah.
after skimming it, it makes sense. As far as additional use cases, I think we've covered the majority of it.
Hmm,
Maybe we can wait and get further feedback from other folks that may be like, hey, what about this use case? But what about the use case of archives, repositories? I think that was one that we had talked about last week and we forgot to.
yeah. It needs to be, yeah, 3.1.6. Uh, um, uh, um, uh, oh, Lord, okay. If the repository is archived, leverage openness is to try to find the. If they. Uh. Um. Emails are not found. Via a. Emails are found. Or. If emails are found, wait 90. And non-bounce. And. Wait, if not fixed. Follow 3.1.6.1. How's that look?
I like the redirect to the other.
Hmm,
It looks good to me.
Silly question, why do we care if the repo is archived to still report it?
so that was an opinion from, I was of the opinion that we should just do nothing and or publicly disclose it. It was the opinion of Jordan, that there may be repositories out there that there may be repositories out there that are archived, but the maintainers still care about. Yeah, that was the assertion or the thought.
Mhm. Makes sense.
Do we have any other special cases? I remember there was like one where we had to create a specialized fork of it if the maintainer didn't want to accept it. Did we cover that case?
If the maintainer had opted out, you mean?
Yes.
Um,
I mean, these can go on forever for the different use cases, but
yeah, so if the maintainer had opted out,
That's unfortunate.
yeah. We got 1.7 yeah. Yeah, so this one. It's heading 4. Let me make sure I'm. Yeah, repository is opted out. Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. Does that make sense? Are we, yeah? I'm wondering if because we're mentioning this opt out.
you could just redirect them to that
yeah.
section if anything.
Yeah.
You could just say like, see, yeah.
like a linking and insert link. Yeah.
Yeah.
That works.
Got there's a question that I got about
We have another one, but I don't know.
yeah, go for it.
The issue is closed or deleted without a response. Like, should we like wait now 35 days or should we not even have that one?
Yeah. If the issue is closed before the 90 before is closed without response. or then yeah,
Yes.
That one makes sense to me.
hmm.
I think we're good. This was just like
Yeah.
different example scenarios.
Hmm.
And then you could put at the end, like for more specific details, look at the sections below or something.
Hmm. Um, okay, all right, so that handles that. Okay. Commit message, commit, yada, 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 should follow the CCOM convention. I don't know, I think that we're in a good state here.
Yeah, I think this document's ready to move forward.
Hmm.
Do we know what the next step is?
Rent it to the vulnerability disclosure work group. All right, so let me just reread the opening. Certain classes of vulnerabilities are common, widespread, and easily detectable with automated tooling. Additionally, many are easily detectable and the fix can be entirely automated. In these cases, the scope of the vulnerability is often beyond what can be reasonably reported to each maintainer privately in a one-on-one exchange. Simply automating the creation of thousands of bug reports also isn't useful. Even more of our non-volunteer maintainers of open source projects. Further, it's often impractical to further report vulnerabilities to scale across open source software following all desired disclosure. Further, it's often impractical to privately report vulnerabilities at scale across open source while still following all maintainer desired disclosure mechanisms. Given a multitude of vulnerability reporting, for example, some projects use GitHub security advisories, others use email, and still others use vulnerability disclosure platforms, Bugcrowd. Josh, does this handle your comment here?
Let me reread it really quick. So further. we definitely cover the limitations of the existing mechanisms. We cover the automation part.
This specification aims to balance.
Yeah, that's probably good enough.
Maybe such as HackerOne or Backrad, because might be others or will be others in the future.
No, I mean, we're currently limiting it to email and to GitHub security advisories. So by supporting a limited set of automatable disclosure mechanisms, this specification aims to strike a balance between security researchers and maintainers around at-scale disclosure and fixed contributions.
I think he's referring to the statement above. It says still others use vulnerability disclosure platforms, and then it adds
Yeah.
such as.
Yeah,
You can just mark my comment as resolved.
By supporting a limited set of automatable disclosure mechanisms, this specification aims to strike a balance between security researchers and maintainers around at scale disclosure and security at scale. This specification describes our requirements that must be satisfied for any campaign to be compliant. Any compliant campaign can attach the OpenSSF compliant automated vulnerability disclosure badge to any communication or pull request issued. I want to add this down here. External review. In okay. Coordinated automated, not automated private disclosure, yada yada yada, basically limiting it to like, you know, if it's new or novel, you gotta disclose privately, but if it's not new or novel, go for it. Private disclosure, if the OpenSSF hosting provider supports a pragmatic means of private disclosure, for example, if PMPBR is available from a hosting provider and not enabled on the vulnerable repository, then a public issue requesting PMPBR feature be enabled in the repository or organization must be requested. The vulnerability itself must not be disclosed, and the existing vulnerability the existence of a vulnerability should be disclosed. Your campaign should consider how to minimize notification load on the maintainers, yada yada yada. If after 30 days of opening an issue requesting PMPBR enabled, it's the maintainer. Oh, this has changed now.
I do want to be respectful of folks' time. We are over and I
Oh,
have
we
to
are
drop.
over. Okay, yeah.
Anything that I can do to help you with this, Jonathan, so we can move it on to the vulnerability disclosure group?
No, I think that I'm just gonna poke at this a little bit further, just to make it clean it up a little bit, and then move forward. We can present it to the, I mean, when's the next meeting?
I think it's sometime next week.
Yeah, it's probably Wednesday.
Yeah,
Alright.
next Wednesday.
Yeah, I will send this over to the Alpha Mega staff to get them to review it and read it, like management, Brian Bellendorf and such like that.
Okay.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna
Thank you,
hop.
everyone.
Yeah, talk to you later.
See you, buddy.
Bye.
Bye, thanks all.